G'day guys, my name's Chris, aka I Ride Taz. Welcome back to the carport. Welcome back to the CD90z build, and today we're going to start installing the Lifan 140cc engine into the CD90z frame. Got a few tools out. I've got the bag that contains the engine componentry. I've got a adapter kit that I bought. A whole bunch of things I think I'm going to need to try and install this engine into this frame. This won't be the final install because I've got to sand the frame down and paint it and things like that, but I'm really keen to try and get this in here and work out what I need to modify to sort of determine how to make this fit permanently. This is the engine bolt from the CD90z, and everyone says that you have to drill this top mount out to get the bolt in, but amazingly, I don't have to. So that's a real win. We don't have to modify the top mount at all, and the rear mount we may do, but yeah, we will start by hanging the engine by the top mount so that I can work out how we're going to go about getting the rear mount in. So I'm actually just going to put the engine on the bike lift and use that to help me lift it up into position. So on all the forums online, it suggested I would need to drill out the top mount to get the engine bolts to fit through, and they fit perfectly stock, so that's great. The less I have to modify this engine, the better. It helps if there's a problem with the warranty claim and things like that. Drop it down. Won't fit. No.
It should, but technically. Let me try again.
Yep.
It's because the angle has to be exact.
Yeah. So
I'm kind of going down and it's
we attempted to lift the engine into the frame, and by no real shock, it didn't fit particularly well. You can see here where it scratched the paint is sort of where it's rubbing on the frame. So I either need to maybe clearance the engine, which I'm not real keen to do, or cut out a section of the frame to allow that casting to fit in. And I think I'm much more willing to do that because at least that can be quite easily fixed. So what I've got is one of these contour gauges. I've been using it to do some home renovations, floating floors. We're just going to take a sample. So there's our engine. There's where the bolt goes. We'll grab a Sharpie. So sort of realistically the bolt comes down there. So we don't want to cut anything there. but I'm thinking if we remove some material through here, that's what will allow us to get the engine in on this side. I'm pretty confident that will work, but it's pretty significant to be removing that section of the frame. But yeah, when has that ever stopped us before? Eye protection, ear protection. So I've just changed across to the flat disc. We cut and used the flap disc to clean it up. There's our tracing that we use with contour gauge, and that's actually fit perfectly. So in theory, that should give us the clearance we need to slot the engine in that section over that hump. Already pissed off some purists, I can tell. There's people out there screaming at the screen that I cut the frame, but it's realistically the only way that I'll get this engine in, and it's very slight. Like, in the scheme of things, it's a very slight modification to get that engine into this bike. I'm pretty happy with how that went. I really, to be honest, don't think 99% of people looking at the bike would even be able to tell that there's a small section removed.
Yeah.
Has it come through? Oh, it's come through.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, hang on. It hasn't.
It hasn't.
No, it hasn't come through the...
Oh, it's kind of supported.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'll put it out.
Hang on. It'll jam my fingers. Okay, I just got the weight now. Yep.
Try again.
Yep. I think I've got to cut a section of the back out. So can you just pull the screw out? So the other side, after I cut the frame to clearance the casting of the Lifan engine, that side went in no problem. But what it did was highlight that there's an issue here. So again, got the contour gauge. So yeah, this thing is just amazing for tracing out complex patterns. So there is the engine. Get that out of the way for you. Here's a Sharpie. Realistically, again, I've just got to cut that material there out to get the engine to fit. This thing is absolutely amazing. It was $12 from Bunnings. I don't think I can live my life without this now. It's just extraordinary for tracing out complex patterns. Let's get the angle grinder, let's cut that, and in theory, the engine should be able to slot in from there. hearing protection in, eye protection on. Cool, that went well. We'll just get the flat disc on. Flat disc on. Cool. Oh yeah, so cool. As you can see, it's clearance beautifully through there. Fits perfectly. Now it's clearance through there. Get the engine. And it gives us the ability just to flex this, move it around a little bit to help us get the rear engine mounts in. Yeah, that I'm real happy with. That actually fits surprisingly well. So guys, we've made some really significant progress today. I mean, the tricky bit was cutting the frame and getting the front mount in, and we've done that. The engine is supporting its own weight. The front wheel clears easily. It's just messing around, just working out how to do the rear mount. I'm pretty quickly running out of time because it's Good Friday, so probably need to go and spend some time with the family. But I do have an adapter kit. I got this from Blyglow. Blyglow is a pretty famous Australian Pitbike supplier. I got this, and it's sort of to convert things like a CT90 or a CT110 to Lifan engines. So there's some bits here which I may or may not be able to use. What I'm thinking is just sort of having a quick play. So what I'm thinking of doing is mounting each one independently. So rather than to the plate, Oh yeah, that's there. Go around the other side. That can go in there. Yep. Just wind this in here. Tighten this up. That's 10. That's a 13. Oh, that's tight. That's awesome. That's actually really rigidly mounted. It's probably more rigidly mounted than the stock. We'll just do the other side. 13 on the back. 10 on the front. There you go. Oh yeah, so that is the engine mounted front and back. I'm absolutely stoked where we're at with the progress today, guys. We modified the frame to fit the front engine mount by sort of using a contour gauge to trace it out and then cutting and grinding the frame to fit. And that went surprisingly well, surprisingly easy. The back mounts, we just used a blind glow conversion plate for a CT90 to a Lifan engine, but I've got a foot peg mount coming, so I actually just used the sort of twisted metal rear engine mounts linking to some holes that would have supported the bolt that the rear mount would have gone in stock. It's sort of basically just an arm connecting the mount on the back of the engine, or sorry, the mount underneath the engine where the foot pegs go, and the rear engine mount. To be honest, it couldn't have fit better after a few taps of the hammer to straighten them out a little bit, and then as I torqued them down, they bent to match the shape. I actually don't think I could have built better, and they look great. The engine is absolutely rigidly mounted in there, and I could not be more happy. I'm so stoked with how the first real day of building this bike has gone. The rest of it is messing about with sort of finicky stuff like electricals, but the engine is in, it fits. The build can progress from here. Guys, if you want to join me for that build, videos are on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you want to support the build, just go to super thanks below the description or buymeacoffee.com/iRideTaz, because I'm pumped for this build. I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week. Have a great Easter, guys. Till I see you next Tuesday in the carport, I'm out. See you.